Go. What's going on, G-Dot family? It's your boy G-Dot TZ back with the VZ. Let's go ahead and get into the new YSL versus the old YSL. And apparently, well, of course, you know, the old YSL members gotta go old and they gotta goddamn do their own thing, and you know, they gotta replenish the ranks, so they gotta have new members. Now, I'm gonna speak from experience, not just talking about YSL, just Atlanta in general. These young niggas is first. I don't know Atlanta young niggas, but Atlanta young niggas is some of the wildest young niggas I've ever come across. So it's not YSL fault. The young niggas in Atlanta is just crazy, period. So let's go ahead and get into the video, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Also don't forget to follow me on Instagram, GuaboyG., and Twitter, GuaboyG.. Let's go ahead and get into it, man.
Oh, damn, look, my partner say this man stole his swag now.
Hey, Jill, how you say he do it?
Hold
Y'all got that came out this area. For folks that don't know.
You got Slime like Shouty, you got Lil Reek, you got Beach Line, you got Bully, you know what I'm saying? You got Thugger, you know what I'm saying? You got Oomph.
The second shooting comes out of southwest Atlanta. 11 Alive was first on the scene after police say a man was shot and killed on Bent Creek Way. Right now, details are limited, but you can see this took place at an apartment complex. The homicide unit out there on the scene
turned deadly in southeast Atlanta. Investigators say someone shot and killed 31-year-old Desiree George while she was driving.
I heard the scream, then the bam.
One of the 3 cars police say were involved stopped in front of Yasmin Davis's home. She didn't see the SUV wrecked, but the passenger side window was shattered by gunfire. Police say witnesses did stay on the scene, but the suspect ran.
Came to this window and the car was right there. And I heard someone calling, saying, "Help me." And it sounded like a little boy.
A former Fulton County deputy accused of having an inappropriate relationship with an inmate.
The 2 teen carjacking suspects Powder Springs police have taken into custody, including charges that they're now facing.
This comes.
We're going to have the police department would like you to see the video of when this officer was shot, and then we will continue with questions, sir.
Chief Hampton will walk us through.
So again, what you'll see is, the subject being followed by Officer Rogers. Again, as Madam DA indicated, that he was, you go ahead, he was wanted. Officers were all hot on his trail. And again, we just want to show the level of violence and the total disregard of life that this individual had on Officer Rogers as well.
Police tell us that they are investigating another shooting on Cleveland Avenue. Around 1 this afternoon, 2 people were shot less than a half-mile away from where that security guard was shot and killed. Atlanta police say that they are expected to survive. But we've been looking into crime around this area and realized there have been multiple shootings near this stretch of Cleveland Avenue just in the past couple of months.
Number one focus is targeting gangs, and there's a reason for that. They are committing conservatively 75 to 80% of all of the violent crime that we are seeing within our community.
And life is always the next man up. And that's
I'm gonna say this too: if you from Atlanta or been to Atlanta and you just moving around Atlanta enough, everybody know not to come to Bleeland Ave with that bullshit. I was on Bleeland one time. Let me tell you something. Shout out my nigga Blambino. Was on Bleeland. Blambino. I seen 2 years to pull up back to back. White, black, gas station, trapped out. The hood, trapped out. Police don't come over there. Shit just crazy. Like, that's what Thug was free though. Shit just crazy. Like, you know, it's just, you don't pull up to you don't pull up to Oakland City with that bullshit. You don't pull up to Bleeland Ave with that bullshit. You don't pull up to the East Side with that bullshit. I don't know too much about Clayco because the police be wild over there, so I ain't Clayco.
for anything, whether it's sports, your education, or even the streets. And even though the risk might not outweigh the possibility of your success, there's always someone ready to take your spot. Most of us by now are aware of the Georgia State RICO case against the Atlanta rapper Young Thug and his co-defendants.
Pop superstar and Atlanta native Young Thug making an appearance in a Fulton County courtroom Tuesday. His first appearance in front of a judge comes less than 24 hours after authorities raided the rapper's Buckhead home. Channel 2 was the only station there Monday.
The fact Thug is living in Buckhead is just crazy.
As investigators arrested the 30-year-old. Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, is one of 28 defendants charged in a sweeping 56-count indictment against the criminal street gang Young Slime Life, also known as YSL.
The state based this case on 3 letters, YSL. And the state of Georgia believe that's the gang, a group that associated themselves once upon a time as rock, raised on Cleveland.
Jacking out here. Put the camera on it.
Hold on, look. My partner say the man stole his swag now.
Hey, Jill, how you say he do it?
Hold on. Let me wind it out.
Hey, Pop, get on the nigga.
Hold on. My nigga, Lil Jeff say he the king of white swagging, right? Stand over one time. Let's just let these folks see what you doing now.
Straight out the goddamn. Brought out right here, man. Know what I'm saying?
All right, you check him out now. Now he said that he want to blow the whistle on young Christian right here.
Blow the whistle on Nip right here. Nip, the only nigga I know take pictures in his camera phone, and he don't got a camera phone.
Do what he do. Do what he do, Jeff. Do what he do, Jeff, when you walk up.
Listen, guys, this is what he does. He's on his phone, but he's taking pictures of me at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
y'all see this shit, now.
The nigga's a whole.
Man, Rico ain't there like that going on. Y'all believe that? I got a bridge in Brooklyn I want to see.
Try to help you.
Yeah, we down here, they Paul kicking it, man, every day. Little Monte right here, man. So rock this, man. 8484, no, man. Check in with him one time.
Hey, Joe. I mean, in this, you know, big money, man, you know, all the way. On swag. Been doing this shit. Big boy swag.
You sell, man.
Gotta do it, man.
He really cool. You see, he got an arm in his shirt, man. You feel me? He really cool. Yeah. Check in with him one time, man. We swagging, man. First nigga pop by when they get through, though. You feel me?
That's all. Hey, that's a little number. You know what I mean? You gotta get the Will Chamberlain boots on there.
Let my boy Lil D get on there. Let my boy Lil D get on there. What you call him? The Will Chamberlain edition?
Let's go to 100 points. This little
Lil D, y'all just get on there one time, man. They said either one, Will Change scored 100 points. See, let me tighten up on them.
Yeah, what's happening?
And they look like regular neighborhood kids that's talking about gear, laughing, joking.
Back in the day, man, that's when everything was simple, bro. You didn't have to worry about shit. Niggas was just going to the park kicking shit. Now everybody out here sliding and dying. Times and change, man.
Coming together like the new generation and the one before them. It's just in this story, we talk about the new generation of youth growing up in Cleveland Avenue, Zone 3, Atlanta, Georgia. The same neighborhood Young Thug is from, that the DA believe he controls. But even while Young Thug is still in jail, fighting for his freedom, and the new generation from his neighborhood is under a new alias, Cleveland Avenue is still one of the most hated and dangerous neighborhoods in Atlanta, and has been making headlines over the past couple months, which later proves no one man can control a neighborhood, or at least forever. So before we go over this one, remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to jump right to it.
Police tell us that they are investigating another shooting on Cleveland Avenue. Around 1 this afternoon, 2 people were shot less than a half mile away from where that security guard was shot and killed. Atlanta police say that they are expected to survive. But we've been looking into crime around this area and realized there have been multiple shootings near this stretch of Cleveland Avenue just in the past couple of months. We asked police if they're concerned, and this is what they had to say.
We're certainly always monitoring the activity that is taking place in that footprint. Our goal is to always work as closely as we can with our Criminal Investigations Division to gather intel to go back to actually investigate and target specific individuals, groups, and attempts to remove them or at least charge them for the issues that they have done in that particular area.
Atlanta police say also they need the communities to come out and help them out, to give them more information, to keep the area safe. So if you see something, say something to keep your neighbors safe.
That news clip was released last month, and the youngins on Cleveland Ave are now calling themselves Y5, Young Brew.
Once again with Miko Worldwide, your boy VVA. Straight out of prison too, y'all Jet Tech. I already know.
Hey, but there's some people all over the world, man, they don't know Cleveland Ave. This really it, man.
Yeah, this really it right here. They were like where everything really started from, like the bottom. Talking about like Free Baby Boy, cause they would really started for with him. Yeah.
I'm in Magic City making known. Turn the whole club to a storm. Then be a perform. On the floor, baby, take out your phone. Let's go. Tryna bitch ain't caught a made a fun. You nigga be mad for on the sun. You better be glad.
Now, Y5 is a spinoff from YSL, but according to a recent indictment from a murder that took place just 2 weeks ago, authorities is pushing the narrative that just because they from Cleveland Avenue, they associated with YSL. And it's been only 3 going on 4 weeks into 2024. And Y5 has been all over the news. Now, knowing that Young Thug and others like Lucci are fighting for their life with the state RICO, mainly because of allegations of their actions and alleged gang affiliations, you would think the young generation under them will learn from that. But in real life, that's not the case. That's like saying a neighborhood dope boy who got 15 years for dealing, the younger generation under them shouldn't do it. But in fact, we know it's just going to be someone else to replace. And for some people, that's all they know. They still going to take that risk. And that's what the youngest on Cleveland Ave doing to this day. After seeing the success of someone who grew up in the same neighborhood as you, went to the same school as you, to the same corner store as you, become a household name, and become wealthy and employed others with the same odds, even though now he's fighting for his life. It's now in the new generation that want to fill that void. Now, Y5 got a number of rappers as well. One named Big Flash, dropping a song 3 months ago called Free Jeffrey.
What you saying, you know I'm a one. Free Jeffrey, I came from that. I got a suitcase in it full of onions, trying to get him going.
As you can see, the respect level was just there for Young Thug because of who he is. Now, Big Flash have a best friend named Young Esco. His real name is Janari Smith, only 19 years old. On January 9th, 2024, he was gunned down for his affiliation with the quote-unquote Slimes. Young Esco left behind his mother and 4 siblings. The shooting happened at the Hills and Greenbrier apartments, located in Zone 4, just 15 minutes from Cleveland Ave. When officers responded to the complex at 2909 Campbellton Road at around 5:45 a.m., they said they found a 19-year-old victim sitting in the driver's seat of a black Nissan Altima that had crashed into a building. Young Esco was pronounced deceased on the scene. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to his family.
For sure.
Surveillance footage from the complex showed 5 people waiting in the parking lot near a building prior to Smith's arrival. Officers said when the victims arrived, 2 of the people hid behind cars, while 3 continued to wait in plain sight. The footage shows Young Esco drive into the parking area and turn around before 3 people walked to the driver's side of the Nissan and opened fire. The car then raced forward, hitting a parked car and slamming into an apartment building. All 5 of the suspects could be seen running into the breezeway of a building, and a person appears to exit the passenger side of the Nissan.
So it sounds like he got set up. It'll be a lot of that shit in Atlanta too. It'll be a lot of kick doors, robberies, back doors, setups. Atlanta streets is just crazy, bro. And them trenches is different. Like them country thugging niggas and them city thugging niggas is completely different. Honestly, I'd rather be a city thugging nigga than a country thugging nigga, because them country thugging niggas is like, it's different. That country thug is different. Y'all niggas don't even know that shit is 100% different. I'm cool on that shit.
Passenger, who identified herself to police as an acquaintance of the victim, was able to provide police with details as to why Young Esco was at the complex, but was not able to give a clear description of the suspects. She told police that Smith had asked her to hang out and if she would go with him to sell some tree. The witness said during the ride to meet the customer, Smith made it clear that he was nervous about the transaction, adding that he was Slime and that the customer was a member of another gang, the name of which the witness could not recall. But this how they end up making an arrest. While driving to meet the customer, Smith used the witness' phone to contact the customer, who used the email that police say later linked to a young man named Stevens, a guy that Young Esco had met while in jail. Young Esco wasn't home for more than a year before being gunned down. And in fact, people thought it was because he posted his Nissan to his Instagram how he got caught. But as we see from the arrest warrant, it was strictly because he did a deal that was a setup from the start.
Told you, setup assholes. Well, not hoes, it was a setup.
And when Young Esco had lost his life, he had 18 comments on his picture. He had a lot of love, but he also had a lot of hate based on his affiliation. He ended up having, to this day, over 500 comments. Some say, according to the arrest warrant, Y5 had their hands in a road rage incident on Cleveland Ave just months before young Esco lost his life. A 31-year-old woman named Desiree George, who was traveling with her 7-year-old son. Until a shootout occurred, she ended up crashing. 3 cars was involved. Everyone stayed except the shooter. After she was struck, she lost her life. May she rest in peace. I love condolences to her family.
Turned deadly in southeast Atlanta. Investigators say someone shot and killed 31-year-old Desiree George while she was driving. And as police search for that shooter, Channel 2 Steve Gelbach spoke with neighbors who heard the gunfire.
Some thought those shots were just leftover Labor Day fireworks. Others heard the aftermath, but all are concerned that a murder suspect is still on the run. Atlanta police believe someone shot and killed the driver of this BMW SUV in a road rage shooting around 2 a.m. Tuesday morning. Victim was later identified as a woman in her late 20s.
I heard the skirt, then the bam.
One of the 3 cars police say were involved stopped in front of Yasmin Davis's home. She didn't see the SUV wrecked, but the passenger side window was shattered by gunfire. Police say witnesses did stay on the scene, but the suspect ran.
Came to this window and the car was right there. And I heard someone calling, saying, help me. And it sounded like a little boy.
She saw a boy around 4 or 5, then another older boy around 8 to 10 years old carried away by a man. Atlanta police say there was some type of shootout between more than one of the cars. We could see investigators collecting shell casings down the entire block of Browns Mill Road.
This is like a dangerous place. This is really a dangerous place, like for real, this area.
One neighbor says shootings, even road rage, are not surprising.
That don't surprise me. It surprised me somebody actually got killed, a female at that, but yeah, it don't surprise me.
I guess you get used to it, but it's pretty sad to get used to it.
Detectives told me all 3 vehicles involved did stay here at the scene, but again, they are still looking for that murder suspect and have not released a description. But as soon as we get those details, we'll bring them to you. In Southeast Atlanta, Steve Gelbach, Channel 2 Action News.
Some say the leader of the younger generation, or one of them, with Y5, is Christian Eppinger, a young man who was known to shoot a police officer broad daylight 6 times before the age of 21 on Cleveland Ave.
Look at the Atlanta police. New tonight at 5, we are getting our first look at the Atlanta police officer shot multiple times on the job this week. Officer David Rogers is still in the hospital tonight after he was shot in his shoulder, knee, and the back of his head while trying to arrest a suspected member of the Young Slime Life gang.
Joe Henke was in the courtroom as the judge denied Christian Eppinger's request for bond.
Hell yeah, denied that shit.
Rogers was shot 6 times on Monday before he was rushed here to the ER at Grady Hospital, and then APD squad cars lined the streets around the hospital. He remains here at the hospital tonight recovering, and the man charged with shooting him
alive?
remains in jail.
Oh,
that
shit.
will remain on no bond based on the nature of the offense, danger to the community, and that he does pose, in fact, a flight risk.
During a virtual court hearing this morning, a Fulton County judge denied bond for 22-year-old Christopher Eppinger. Arrest warrants released today. Detail officer David Rogers attempting to arrest Eppinger Monday near Old Hateville Road with a warrant for a 2021 armed robbery and assault case. According to the warrants, Eppinger pushed Rogers away, pulled out a gun, and shot the officer 4 times in the shoulder, once in his leg and once in the back of his head. Another officer then returned fire, and in the warrants, Eppinger is described as attempting to shoot the second officer while running away.
He was on probation for an armed robbery that was pled down to robbery.
In court today, prosecutors described Eppinger as being convicted in 2016 when he was 17 years old for robbery and aggravated assault. Court records show he was sentenced as a juvenile to serve 4 years behind bars and then 6 years on probation.
And Mr. Eppinger is a documented member of YSL street gang.
Prosecutors also informed the judge Eppinger is a member of the Young Slime Life, or YSL gang. In the warrants, APD described the gang as having a stronghold on the Cleveland Avenue corridor where the shooting happened Monday.
That warrant that the officers were seeking to execute stems from an incident of October 12, 2021.
Officers attempted to arrest Eppinger Monday for the crime described in this report, where he allegedly robbed a man at gunpoint along Cleveland Avenue and, working with an accomplice, took the man's Rolex watch, designer wallet, jewelry, iPhone, and SUV. And in court today, Eppinger's attorney described him as a 22-year-old who lives at home with his mom and siblings and is expected to soon become a father. His attorney asked for a, quote, reasonable bond, which the judge denied.
Hell yeah, denied it.
Henke.
Fam, that was just under 2 years ago in 2022. But because of that, he was once attached to the RICO indictment with Young Thug, but later released and tried separately after relationships with the deputy was released to the public.
A former Fulton County deputy accused of having an inappropriate relationship with an inmate. Akiba Stanley waived her first appearance Saturday. She is charged with violating her oath of office, reckless conduct, and conspiracy to commit a felony. She was fired from the Fulton County Sheriff's Office after her arrest. The Atlanta Police Department fired Stanley a few years ago after an investigation found her unfit to be an officer. Now the defendant in question is high-profile inmate Christian Eppinger, who is accused of shooting an Atlanta police officer last year. He is also awaiting trial in connection to the YSL RICO case. Authorities allege Stanley visited Eppinger's cell, communicated with him through Instagram, and tried to smuggle contraband to him from his relatives. They also say she gave him an illegal cell phone.
Now, as you can see, family, you guys let me know. Is the way.
Like I said in the beginning of the video, these young niggas in Atlanta just crazy. It ain't Thug fault. It ain't Lucci fault. It ain't Slime fault. That's Slime Thugs. It ain't none of these people's fault. These young niggas just crazy. It's just the internet, bro. The social media and everybody recording everything and putting it on social media and trying to look cool and trying to look gangster and trying to look hard. It is the minds of the young niggas, everything, and it's just an epidemic, man. I hope one day we can break away from this shit and just save the black community, because right now it's going downhill, man.